Dumb people usually get themselves in trouble due to their limited understanding of the law. But as soon as they face the long arm of justice, they get humbled. Let's look at 5 such instances where dumb people are convinced that laws don't apply to them. On March 27, 2022, officers responded to a report of a disturbance at a gas station involving an individual identified as Philip Moore. Upon their arrival, the officer engaged with Philip Moore, a 38-year-old man, instructing him to leave the property as he was not allowed to be there.
They don't want you on the property, dude. They want you to trespass. You're not supposed to be here, so I need your ID and I need you to leave after I get done with you.
The officer requested Moore's identification and informed him that he was being trespassed. The encounter quickly escalated as Moore resisted cooperation, leading to a verbal exchange between him and the officer. Moore insisted that he had done nothing wrong and questioned the reasons behind his detainment. The officer repeatedly asked for his identification. Despite the officer's efforts to explain the situation and resolve it peacefully, Moore continued to resist, refusing to provide his ID and attempting to walk away.
Listen, dude, we're not done. We're not done. Get your ass over here. We are not done. I need your ID.
The officer warned Moore that he was going to be arrested for trespassing and resisting arrest. Despite the escalating tension, Moore refused to comply with the officer's instructions, asserting his innocence and maintaining that he had not committed any wrongdoing. As the situation unfolded, Moore's resistance persisted, leading the officer to inform him that he would be tased if he did not cooperate. The officer struggled to detain Moore physically, who continued to deny any wrongdoing. Then another officer arrives at the scene, and they were able to detain him.
Stop.
Put your hands behind your back and listen.
The officers eventually informed Moore that he was under arrest for trespassing and resisting arrest. Despite multiple warnings, Moore continued to resist, claiming that he had merely walked away and had done nothing wrong. When the officer was processing him in the car, he did this.
Hey, he just spit on me, so it's going to be a felony charge for him today.
He spat on the officer, escalating the charges to include battery on a law enforcement officer. In the end, Philip Moore was charged with resisting an officer, trespassing, and battery on a law enforcement officer. Bail was set at $33,000. Philip Moore was not the only one who gave the cops a hard time. Let's look at the next one. On March 17, 2023, an incident unfolded when police officers initiated a routine traffic stop due to a traffic violation. The stop occurred outside a residence, and things took an unexpected turn when the homeowner confronted the police.
Why did you pull me over? I stopped.
Okay, well, first off, that's not how we're going to start this, okay? Driver's license, registration, insurance.
For what?
Driver's license, registration, insurance.
During the traffic stop, the homeowner shows up and tells the officers that they are on his property. The officers responded by pointing a taser at the homeowner, demanding him to go back inside.
Go back! Yeah, doing a traffic stop.
Look where the
9 Bravo 10 Central. Hey, go back to your property.
9 Bravo 10.
Meanwhile, the Uber driver, caught in the midst of the escalating situation, likely witnessed the unfolding events with surprise and concern. Tensions peaked when the homeowner threatened the police, leading to his handcuffing and arrest. The homeowner's spouse was involved in the conversation, sharing concerns about the police presence in the area and expressing frustration with recent events. The officers mentioned previous incidents involving the homeowner, including an assault on his own property. The homeowner was charged with aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, threatening a law enforcement officer, and resisting an officer without violence. His bail was set at $9,500. Sometimes, people can resolve a situation by simply complying with the law, but others may completely blow it out of proportion, just like the next guy. On February 23, 2022, officers responded to a call reporting a disruptive man inside a restaurant. Upon arrival, they discovered the man sleeping on the ground outside.
Police department. Hey, man. Wake up. Police department.
The officers attempt to wake him up and request his cooperation, but the individual refuses. He eventually got up and tried to put up a fight.
Come on, Hey, you're gonna get tased, okay?
The encounter intensifies when the man tries to flee and attempts to get into the police car. The officers eventually manage to subdue the man, place him on the ground, and call for medical assistance. Throughout the incident, the officers repeatedly asked the man to stop resisting and cooperate. During the altercation, one officer reports that the individual bit him, and there are concerns about the man's wrist being injured.
I think he grabbed my wrist or something because my wrist is all... I can't even close my hand.
The man was charged with theft of a motor vehicle and obstruction. If you thought dumb people stopped here, then you need to see this couple. On January 27, 2023, a situation unfolded involving an officer attempting to conduct a traffic stop for a person driving a golf cart on a public roadway. The individual being stopped expressed reluctance and refused to provide identification, claiming the officer needed to pull them over on the public road rather than on their private property.
Do you have your license registration? Yes, you do.
Get off my property.
Yes, you do. You committed a traffic infraction.
Okay.
As the situation escalated, the man expressed concern about their family inside the house. He requested the officer to bring a supervisor, arguing that the traffic stop should have occurred at the moment of the alleged violation on the public road. The supervisor eventually arrives, attempting to defuse the situation and offering him the choice of providing identification or facing arrest.
So, would you prefer to present the identification or not?
Sorry, I have a question. No. I have a question. No.
Tensions rise further as the officer proceeds with the arrest, leading to emotional pleas from the person being detained, who requests that a relative be called to care for their children.
All I needed was your ID, man.
But I wanted to know if I'm legally required to give it to you, and that's why I asked for this.
You are legally required.
Both of them were charged with resisting an officer and obstructing. At times, cooperating with the officers can help you avoid significant trouble that you might have otherwise faced. And that's what happens in the next case. On July 2, 2023, an officer patrolling the area observed a vehicle committing a traffic violation. As the officer attempted to pull over the vehicle, it suddenly accelerated, initiating a dangerous chase through the city streets. Eventually, the officer caught up to the driver and confronted him.
Hey, come here! Come here! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Why'd you run from me?
I didn't run from you.
Yes, you did. You just jumped out of that car.
No, I did not.
Yes,
sir.
you did.
No, I did not, sir.
Put your hands behind your back.
Yes, sir.
The officer tries to comprehend why the individual chose to flee. The officer reads the individual his rights, asking about the absence of a license and their actions. The individual claims innocence, asserting that he just got back and had a friend driving the car. The officer informs the individual of the charges he might face and attempts to understand the motivation behind his actions.
I looked right at you.
All right, I don't have a license, sir.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? It's simple. Why run from me?
The officer continues to express frustration at the unnecessary escalation, emphasizing the potential dangers of the situation. When the officer was taking him to the station, the individual tried to negotiate and cooperate, expressing regret for his actions and offering assistance to resolve the situation. As the situation unfolds, the individual reveals that he had provided a false name because he had a warrant under his real name.
All right, well, my real name's still Thomas. I got a warrant.
So you lied to me about your name.
Yes, sir.
So you were about to put charges on somebody else.
This is my brother.
Ultimately, the officer decides to lessen the charges based on the individual's level of cooperation.
What I'm gonna do for you, I was gonna give you a boatload of tickets, but because you've been cool, I'm gonna give you the fleeing charges on me. You're gonna get falsifying because that kind of put us in this whole mess.
In the end, the individual faces charges of fleeing, reckless driving, and providing a false name. The bail is set at $4,000. If you enjoy the content, then consider subscribing.